rooms after. I'll just okay that. Yeah, we're gonna try something different this evening. We're gonna try breakout rooms just to give everybody, I don't know if everyone here has tried, has been in a Zoom call where you go into a breakout room with someone else, and it's just going to give everyone an opportunity to say hello to someone and connect. Because sometimes when we're on the big screen and there's a few of us, it's not so, some people maybe don't want to put their hand up, or there is an opportunity for everyone to talk. So we just want to give everyone an opportunity to share. But I'm going to just pass it over to Francis to start, and then we'll come back to that after.
Hey everybody, thanks for being with us today. We're gonna chant. So this is the verse that Professor Bryant asked us to learn, and I'm going to do a melody that we usually do for Bhagavad Gita with a study group I have. So unfortunately we can't really do call and response even if I pick someone, because I'm playing my harmonium and things don't time out exactly together in Zoom just yet. So what I'll do is I'll chant it twice, and I did it one section at a time. So I'll chant it and then I'll chant it the second time, and you can chant it with me. So we'll do like a pretend call and response. Start with Om. There's a chat. You'll mind the chat. Hey, just in case if there's anything. Thanks. I'll close it because it's covering my chat. Oh, and if you can mute people if they're not. Narayanam namaskritya. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam naram chaiva narottamam devim Saraswatim Vyasam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udiraye Tato Jayam not muted. How do I mute all? Ooh. It's okay. We'll just do it again. Whoever's singing is fine. We'll do it one more time all together, yeah. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam Devi Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayam Udiraye. Missing an Anusvara here. Am I in? Here we go. Ha! Okay. All right. How was that, everybody?
That was great.
You could hear it okay?
Thank you so much.
Perfect.
Yeah, so for those that weren't here just before Francis started her beautiful singing, thank you so much for leading that. we're gonna go into breakout rooms for maybe like, what do you think, Francis? 7 minutes or something? What's your vibe? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And this is just to give everyone an opportunity to just kind of connect with someone in the group and just share. The question that we've sort of decided on is to go into the breakout room and share your biggest win and your biggest struggle this past week, or one or the other. And, be free to be honest. And when you come back out of the breakout room, then we can maybe share some of those wins and some of those struggles, as well as obviously bring any other questions that you've got or anything that you want to share. So yeah, your biggest win and or your biggest struggle this week in your Sanskrit studies, and share with the buddy that you're going to be put into the room with, and then come back and share as a group. Well, I think, Francis, you've set it up. I think we'll just move straight into that now, I think is good. And then we can come back and
Just so you know, when we do breakout rooms, it won't be able to record because there'll be many rooms, of course. But feel free. Also, this is for your opportunity to be really honest, like Alice said, and it won't be in the recording. And then when we all come back together, I'll start recording again, and we can share whatever we feel comfortable sharing with the group. Yeah. So I'm splitting us up. Or are there more people joining? Maybe I should recreate just to be sure, because I think a couple of people may have joined since. Okay, I'm splitting us up into 4 groups, so or 5-ish, 4 or 5 in the group, and we'll be back in 7 minutes, so like 2:15 Eastern time. All right, see you soon. Yeah, I think we're all back. So yeah, so Linda was talking. Do you want to continue what you were sharing, Linda?
I can't see everybody. Can you hear me?
yes.
Okay, I'll speak and try to get everybody back. What I let go of, because I'm old and nothing sticks. I've been over certain of the conjugations or the declensions so many times. I've done the little cards, I've written them out, and they just don't stick. But a little bit does. And I had done most of these lessons, maybe 10 or 12 of them in the beginning with Professor already. And so now everything is a review and it's new. And I'm astounded at how much I actually did learn. And that makes me very happy. Very, very happy. It brings me a great deal of joy. I can read sometimes I get hung up on a complicated cluster, but consonant, what is it? What is it? How many letters are in here? And I don't remember the Sunday, but I go over and I listen to the translation of the readings, and I'm familiar. I know what I'm looking at. And that is such a thrill for me. I can't tell you.
Just to interrupt, Francis, do you need to hit record? Oh, it is recording. Apologies.
That's okay. Yeah, it went right back to recording when I came back. So yeah, wonderful. Okay, well, thank you so much, Linda, for sharing. That's great, and that is a big win to recognize that you are absorbing more than you realized, and that
Much more, and it becomes it's familiarity. I let go of a lot, so I don't mind the repetition, and the repetition is what works. Because what chants I've learned the way the Indians teach it. You repeat the phrase and you repeat the phrase and you repeat the phrase after the teacher. And you learn a lot because you take it in subliminally. I So don't anybody give up. It's a learning of a lifetime. And it's very enjoyable if you let go of all the demands on yourself and just enjoy it, because it's extremely unique. I mean, I've studied other languages, I've lived abroad, and there's nothing like Sanskrit. It's truly divine. I feel it is. It's not magic, but it is divine. And when Professor talks about Panini and he talks about the grammarians, when you're trying to remember everything, and when I'm focusing on a sentence in Sanskrit, it's better than almost better than meditating, because if anything else is in your consciousness, you can't do it. You have to focus on so many layers of rules and meanings and the look of the letters, and there's so much focus involved that it brings a very peaceful state. If you don't get upset that you're not remembering as much as you want.
That's great. Thank you, Linda. Thank you so much for sharing.
I just wanted to say that was really encouraging, Linda. And when you said don't get upset, because in my breakout room, I was just sharing how I was feeling a bit deflated last week, and just feeling that I couldn't keep up and I was behind. But then I had to keep reminding myself, and one of my buddies said, just remind yourself that it's the first time around, and just absorb. And actually Lulu just said I think it was Lulu, I can't remember if I got it wrong, Lulu said, but about it being a practice, and just enjoying that practice and not getting hung up about just maybe not being as far ahead as, I don't know, we feel we should be, or someone else, or so thank you for sharing that. It's made me feel better.
So was there anyone who didn't get a chance to share who would like to share in the group? Okay, we really wanted, and I'm glad that I saw the comment that the breakout rooms were helpful, because that was one of the things from our last meeting, was we wanted to make sure everybody got a chance to share, and sometimes it can be a little intimidating in the entire with the entire group, and maybe not everybody feels as comfortable speaking up. If there are any questions, yes.
Can I just share something with the group?
Sure.
I'll keep it really short. I just want to say that I'm doing my best, and I'm trying to study every day, and it's very, very challenging, and I have days where the only thing that's keeping me is that I made a commitment. I really wanted to do this. It's something I've been wanting to do for a very long time. I came to it knowing the alphabet and knowing the sounds and chanting and familiar with some vocabulary. It's still very challenging, and I just made a commitment that I was going to stick it out for a year. So I know sometimes I hit that point where I'm like, I don't know why I'm doing this, but I've made a commitment and I'm going to stick it out. So I just wanted to just encourage everybody, like Linda did, and Alice has been, like, you're going to hit those, you're just going to hit those walls. I think it's just a incredibly challenging language, but I think that there's a big payoff in the end. And it's, and I really think that Professor Bryant's just very, very, very encouraging and really wanting us to hang in there. So I just wanted to just encourage everybody, like, I think we're all hitting those low points, but stay with it.
Thank you, Sky. It's nice. I think it's really encouraging, especially for anyone who's like me. I mean, I had never done any Sanskrit at all before I started this course, other than a little bit of chanting and to do with my yoga and stuff. But I'm a complete beginner, and I think it's really encouraging to remember that we are all at different stages, and people can help each other, and just stick with it. And I think that's what I want to say this evening, is that there is no question that is too small or anything. So it's encouraging. Thank you. I don't know if anyone else has anything to share, or if Frances has, I know she has something lined up, but if somebody has anything to share, please go for it.
Go ahead. I was just going to mention, I put something in the chat. My therapist and I were discussing the difference between meditation and active intellectual involvement. And I don't know, I'm sorry, I don't know her name, but she said, with the woman with the bird, said it brings her peace. And I thought that was very interesting. And anything I can learn about that would be appreciated.
Well,
That's all I
something
got.
that my that's okay. Well, maybe Peter has an answer for this.
No, he doesn't. I do remember Edwin talking about whole, schools. I forget the term that they don't chant, they don't meditate, they just study Sanskrit. And that's their not just their svadhyaya. That's how they achieve samadhi, I guess. My question, though, is to the group and this is great. This is my first time joining in on one of these. Is about transliteration. I can transliterate now, but now I'm kind of worried about how reliant I am on transliteration and like where people are on weaning themselves off it, because I do rely on it quite a lot.
Yeah, that's really great. Yeah, I only just started, I think about maybe this year, to try to read directly from the Devanagari. And I have been doing my notes in both, well, in three really, because I'm doing Devanagari, transliteration, and English when I'm writing out my stuff. And then I realized for myself, well, first of all, it takes a long time. And then second of all, that it's like an extra step, kind of like when you're learning a new language and you translate it in your brain and then you try to speak. So I was sharing in my group that I speak 3 languages, and Spanish was the 3rd one I learned. And this is even worse because Spanish is closer to French, which I already know. So when I would listen to Spanish in my brain, I would translate it to French and then into English, because that's my first language. And then for my response, I would translate it from English to French to Spanish, because I wanted to get the verb forms correct and they're closer in that language. So all that to say, it is when you do the transliteration like an in-between step that doesn't allow you to get direct access in a way. So yeah, over time I would really strongly encourage you to try. And I do it for myself too. I try to, like, if I have something in both, to cover the transliteration and just read straight from Devanagari. And more and more, and when it gets tough is when there's all those conjuncts in there and I'm like, which one? How do you pronounce this one? And maybe I'll cheat and look down at the transliteration at that point. But it's the same as when anything. It's with practice. But yes, and for myself too, I'm trying to really force myself to look directly at the Devanagari before looking at the translation.
Well, Peter, I'd like to say that I think that Sanskrit has been studied in a lot of different scripts, and what I found is that I tried that process of just going to Devanagari and just resigned myself to knowing both, going back and forth. And then I noticed one time I was studying with one of my early Sanskrit professors, and he was looking at a phrase, and he actually flipped it over into transcribed it briefly to get a understanding of what was going on. So I just had resigned myself to being able to do both. What I found is that when it goes into the Roman script, it can be actually more cumbersome in some ways, because the Devanagari script is so eloquent in terms of how it puts things together. So when you see all those Roman letters together, sometimes it just looks, kind of, I don't know, it just doesn't have the eloquence. And so after a while, you begin to appreciate the beauty of the Devanagari. But I don't think I'll ever not transcribe. I have to transcribe sometime to break Sunday because I don't have the ability to see it so easily in my head.
Yeah, I kind of agree with James that yes, it is very cumbersome. I find transliterations very cumbersome. And I think we kind of rely far too much on the IIST transliteration, but we need to know all the other two types of transliterations as well. But if I can say what I find that is very cumbersome is the spatialization of the aksharas of the syllables. It basically doesn't look the way it sounds. So that's my view, and I'm trying as much as possible not to rely on the transliterations. I find that the transliterations actually hold me back, and I don't learn. But that's my personal view and how I see. Because if you start really, it's very misleading also in terms of sounds. It just doesn't do the job.
I just want to tell everybody, please take it easy on yourself. Just enjoy it. Let go, relax. Repetition is the best teacher repetition, the way people learn traditionally when they learned orally. They learned the whole Veda orally, and just relax and enjoy it. It will come. It will come in due time by repeating. I find that the transliteration is quite helpful, but it did take me a while to get the dots and get all the little symbols. Once I got that, I find that I can read the transliteration very quickly. And that helps me get the rhythm of the syllables. And that helps me move on to the Devanagari and then parse things. So keep your enjoyment up by taking it easy and just, doing what the professor says. He says namaste to all of us for trying to do this. And everybody learns differently and learns at a different pace. And the important thing is what he says. He gives us so much credit for even trying, and enjoy it. It's a great thing you're trying to do. So
can I say quickly, I couldn't agree more strongly with the idea that ease is the path. And yeah, I don't know what more I'm trying to get to through any of my spiritual sort of studies than to be able to approach whatever I'm approaching with some ease. Easier said than done. And I too, like Francis, I have to actively cover up the transliteration if I want to look at the Devanagari. And one of my teachers too told me to just point at each letter, like use a pen and point, because it's really easy to, it's easy to read one syllable. Yeah. Yo, whatever it is, ta, to. And actually to point, because it is a syllabic script, it makes it much more easier because your brain is like not trying to take in the wider picture, and you could just do like, okay, this syllable. And it's so friendly in that it's written the way it's pronounced. So it works.
I had a tremendous time remembering about the I that goes before, but you pronounce it afterwards, and the R, where is it in the chain of letters? Where do you pronounce the R? And also the compound vowels where the little accent aigu line goes for an I or an ow. If you constantly look at the transliteration, if you internalize it, and you don't have to look, oh, where is the R and what do I, you just sort of, your unconscious just gets it. And I can read a word now and the R's fall where they're supposed to, and the I's fall where the E's fall where they're supposed to, because I'm used to hearing the way it sounds. So, like I said, take it easy.
Thank you so much, Linda and Andrea, for sharing that. It's nice for us all to hear that. I don't know, Francis, if you want to, I mean, is everyone, I know that Francis, you had some paradigms that you were going to maybe lead us through. I don't know if everyone would like to do that, or oh, I've got a thumbs up from Lulu, I can see. Oh, lots of thumbs up.
Well, oh, good. Okay. Well, last time we did the alphabet, so I was wondering if people wanted to review the alphabet. We could do that. Or we could go straight to paradigms. I'm open. And I think, like Peter was saying, this is his first time joining, so maybe for people who didn't get a chance to chant last time, the way I did it was, can you all see my, hang on, I'll spotlight this. So we did it one line at a time, and we did it call and response. Do you want paradigms, Mary Angel's? Okay, so should we take a poll?
Yeah, just pop in the chat. Paradigms
up
or
in the chat. Let's see.
alphabet.
I'm happy to do either. Paradigms. We're getting lots of paradigms. Okay, this looks like I'm gonna put away my. Looks like I'm putting away my alphabet. Okay. No worries.
May I say something?
Yes, please.
I want, if you want to learn how to pronounce the Sanskrit, there's a wonderful on the YouTube. This is the Bhagavad Gita, and there's all the 18 chapters, and there's a native Indian woman singing these different chapters, and you always have the time to with some this. I can show you maybe. Ich glaube, with my this is not. It's called. For example, for the 10th chapter, it's called Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10, chanting by Padmini Chandrasekhar and Lakshmi. And this is very nice. I mean, if you want, I can just start this for a moment, and then you can hear how it goes. And this helps me very much with pronouncing and feeling free, just repeating what a native Indian woman is, how the native Indians are chanting this. So I can really recommend. I can put this in the chat box.
Friend, real quick, you can just say Indian. You don't have to say native. Okay, you can just say Indian.
What?
You can just say Indian. You don't have to say native.
I'm sorry. I'm German. My English is not so good, so I apologize for it. I just want to bring this in. But I can write this in the chat box, so then you can, if you want to go to YouTube, you can check yourself.
If you could pop that in the chat, that would be wonderful, because
you don't have to apologize. I just wanted to say it real quick, just to save you from not saying it the next time, because we're all a Saṅga here.
Thank you.
Okay.
Ela, in the in the video that you're sharing, does she chant it twice so that you can repeat with her?
Yes, exactly. This
great.
is so
I love
wonderful.
that.
You can chant this. You can all chant all 18 chapters, and this is you can stop in between and repeat it. And this is wonderful. It helps me a lot for how to pronounce the words.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Eli. Yeah, if you can pop it in the chat, that would be wonderful. Yeah. So yeah, over to you again, Frances, if you want. I think we had
All right.
a definite thumbs up.
Yes, an overwhelming vote for paradigms. So we'll go to paradigms. So this is my, I made myself charts for the different paradigms that we've seen so far. And we do a particular melody for this. Oh, I can't really, let me see. I'm going to try to call on people. So what we do is there's a little melody that we use. So I can chant a line and then I'll call on somebody else to repeat. Does that sound good? Are we all game? Yes? All right, perfect. So
Frances, before we start, will you share this with us?
You want me to share it? Sure, I'm happy to share. I've done all these like I haven't. I'm at chapter 5, so I haven't gone through all the way to 6. But I have this one too during the lecture. How Professor Bryant asked us to do Pullinga, Napusamlinga, and Strilinga above each other. So yeah, happy to share if that's helpful for everybody. Okay, so Purusha, masculine, Pullinga, noun. So let me see if I remember the melody now. I put myself on the spot. Purusha, Purushao, Purusha, Purusha, Purushao, Purusha. Matthew.
Purusha, Purusha, Purusha. Purusha, Purusha, Purusha.
Beautiful. Purusham, Purushao, Purushan. Purusham, Purushao, Purushan. Peter.
Purusham, Purushao, Purushan. Purusham, Purushao, Purushan.
Excellent. Purushena, Purushabhyam, Purushai. Purushena, Purushabhyam, Purushai. Jim.
Purushena, Purushabhyam, Purushahi.
Excuse me for interrupting again. Don't you say Purushaha, Purushaha, and Purushaihi?
You can. You can. You can also do it as a breath at the end, so you don't necessarily have to repeat the previous vowel. And the way I learned, you could do that. You could do it that way. But the way I learned, we would just do it at the end. So if it's like in the middle of a sentence, so we're doing a full row. But yes, the short answer is yes. Okay, thank you, Jim. What are we on? Chaturthi Vibhakti. Purushaya, Purushabhyam, Purushebhyaha. Purushaya, Purushabhyam, Purushebhyaha. Maria.
Purusham, Purushabhyam, Purushebhyah, Purushaya, Purushabhyam, Purushabhyah.
Lovely. Purushat, Purushabhyam, Purushebhyaha Purushat Purushabhyam Purushebhyaha. Federico.
I'm not a great singer, but I'll try. Purushat, Purushapyam, Purushepyaha, Purushat, Purushapyam, Purushepyaha.
Excellent. That was great. Now we're at Purushasya Purushayo Purusharnam Purushasya Purushayo Purusharnam. Lulu.
I was just going to ask where the R came from, but so let me try this. Purushasya Purushayo Purushanam Purushasya Purushayo Purushan Sharanam.
I see what you mean. Okay, so that's me pronouncing my third mouth position N. And there's no actual R sound there. Yeah, it's because, so this is the last one you're talking about, Purushanam. So that na is in here. So in our, or at least this is from what I learned, and this is how I pronounce it. But in our ear, it sounds like I'm saying, might sound to you like I'm saying Purusharnam, but I'm not. I'm saying Purusharnam, and because I pull my tongue into my mouth, it might have a little bit of a quality in your ear, but that's not what I'm pronouncing. I'm not pronouncing an R there. Yeah, Rudraksh, do you want, because you're here? Sorry to put you on the spot.
Francis, I just want to comment that Tibetans, interestingly, when they do the retroflex, some of them pronounce the R as Lulu.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm deferring to Rudraksh because he can speak Hindi, so I'm gonna let him.
I can speak Hindi, but we don't say these words in Hindi ever. So
okay.
I think you actually have more experience than me in this. So I'll defer back to you, friend.
Okay. So thank you. I just want to make sure, but this is the way I learned. So all of these sounds, the ones with that in transliteration, with the dots underneath, even this sha as well, right, are in the third mouth position. The third mouth position is when you pull your tongue back, and we did this trick last week where you can bite your finger and then pronounce da ta da ta na da ta da ta na. So your tongue avoids your finger and goes up, and this is where all of these letters, yeah, even the sh sound, you can go sha, sha, sha is in the mouth. And it gives a little bit of that quality of a ra, and maybe, as Federico is saying, maybe there are people that have a more pronounced ra sound in between, but it is purusha ram. And the in between, from your tongue moving from the front to the back, it has a bit of a kind of a sound, but it's not, you're not trying to pronounce that. It just is a consequence of the tongue moving back. Purusharnam, Purusharnam. Yeah. Okay, I'll make sure I get through this paradigm. The next is Purushe, Purushayo, Purusheshu, Purushe, Purushayo, Purusheshu. I have Andrea next.
Purushe, Purushayo, Purusheshu, Purushe, Purushayo, Purusheshu.
Nice. Purusha, Purushao, Purusha. Purusha, Purushao, Purusha. Alice.
Purusha, Purusha, Purusha. Purusha, Purusha, Purusha.
Excellent. All right. We have 7 minutes. I don't know. Do we want to do Napunsanglinga or do we want to Sakalinga or do we want to do something else? Does anyone else have questions or suggestions? I don't mind. I can chant.
Yes, I have a question. How do you get into this Devanagari keyboard?
Oh, this is a good question.
Any hints?
I have a MacBook, an Apple computer, so you can search for a Sanskrit keyboard. I use the Devanagari because there's also Hindi, but the Devanagari is going to be what's most useful for our purposes, I believe. So I found that.
In the Mac, if you take your cursor to the horizontal bar at the top where your icons are, your magnifying glass and the battery, there's a point where it says US. And if I click on that, I have a pull down menu and the second language is Hindi standard.
I think you have to, that's where you find it, but I think you have to add it.
Oh, so you have to
search for it.
So I guess you would go to settings and do keyboards or icons or.
Yeah, search for keyboards. Yeah.
Yeah.
I could Google it was a long time ago that I did this, Shanti, so I could
Me too,
Google yeah, exactly. So I could Google the instructions. Do you have a Mac as well, or do you have a PC?
Yes, I have a Mac, so I'll play around.
I don't mind. We can include it in the.
Francis, I'd make one other suggestion for everybody.
Yeah.
Since I work across all these platforms, there's a product called Keyman that will work on your Mac. It'll also work on a laptop. It'll also work on a tablet. So it's a little more versatile than, and I have a Mac also, but it's a little bit more versatile than just being within a Mac environment. So it's people.
Maybe, I have the Devanagari keyboard on my Mac, but what I have a problem with is some of the transliterations. Like for any of the retroflex, I'm just cutting and pasting. Do you know of a simple way to be able to?
Yeah, you can create shortcuts. There's one way you can create keyboard shortcuts within the Mac that allow you to do it. I'm not fully familiar with the Devanagari keyboard within the Mac because I don't use it. Frankly, I use Keyman, and it comes with a complete way on how to use it. And it's like a long A on the Keyman is a double A. It's easier. It's more intuitive. Just me personally. Francis may have the answer to you to specifically how you're doing a retroflex sound because she's obviously using it regularly right now.
I just want to say that if it's about searching the dictionaries, as Professor Bryant suggested very quickly, maybe people haven't noticed to use the Harvard Kyoto transliteration, which is using just a standard keyboard. So almost every dictionary has it.
Yeah, that's what Keyman uses. Keyman uses a standard keyboard also. It just translates all the letters into something, makes it easy. So it's up to everybody. I just threw it out as a suggestion for people. Whoever was speaking a minute ago, I can probably figure it out for you in a few minutes if you want to send me a chat where I can get a hold of you. Or if Francis has a quick answer right now, that would work too.
You're talking about typing out transliteration, Andrea. Is that
He's
right?
the
retroflex. I can't. That's the one thing that I cannot figure out how to do. I just have cut and pasted in every time.
In transliteration or in Devanagari?
In transliteration.
Okay. In transliteration, yeah, Lance, I'm using I found this thing called Lexi Logos, and I copy and paste my translate. Actually, I'd probably do better to find a shortcut, but that's what I've been doing. Yeah.
So one of the ways you can do it, there's a thing within the Mac that you can actually set keyboard shortcuts. And if you do a keyboard shortcut within that language, it will do a transliteration for you.
Thank you.
Lance is the tech guy. I figured. So it is 2:58. So I just want to respect everybody's time because we really made sure to be on time. If people want to like hang out for a little bit longer, of course. But I'm going to cut off our official meeting in the next 2 minutes. So I was wondering if you wanted to chant the verse again, or if we kind of just wanted to. Yes. Okay. So I thought that would be nice to end our official meet, and then, you know, if people want to like hang back a little, I can leave you to that. Okay. Everybody's on mute. This is bothering me, talking about computer stuff. Okay. So I'm gonna sing twice. You will sing the second time on mute. Ooh, I heard somebody already. Let's see. Everyone muted? Okay. Start with Om. Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayam Udiraye Tato Jayam Udiraye.
Thank you so much, Francis.
Thank you.